You know, if you're a founder, there's one tool that's more powerful than your product, your funding, or even your strategy, and that tool is the story you tell. So today, we're going to break down the art and science of brand storytelling and turn it from this vague idea into your number one tool for growth.
Okay, let's kick things off with a really foundational principle. This one idea, this is the line in the sand between a brand that just exists and a brand that becomes totally unforgettable. It's the difference between being heard and actually being felt.
Just look at this. On one side, you have a fact. The queen died, and then the king died. It's just a sequence of events, a simple report. But then look at the story. The queen died, and the king died of a broken heart. That tiny little change, it adds context, emotion, causality. One is just data. The other is a narrative that creates an immediate emotional connection. And that connection, well, that's everything.
And look, this isn't just some fluffy marketing theory. It's actually deeply rooted in neuroscience. Our brains, they're not really built to remember spreadsheets and data points. They are hardwired to process the entire world through story.
When you tell a really compelling story, something pretty amazing happens inside the listener's brain. There's this process called neural coupling, where their brainwaves literally start to sync up with yours. At the same time, their mirror neurons start firing as if they are the ones living the story. So you're no longer just talking at them, you're actually inviting them into a shared, felt experience.
So you might think that these powerful, memorable stories are just random acts of creative genius, right? Well, they're not. They actually have a very distinct architecture. There's a framework behind them, and once you understand it, you've got the key to crafting a message that truly sticks.
And that framework is success. It's basically your cheat sheet. Think about any story that has ever grabbed you. I bet it had these 6 elements. It needs to be simple enough to get right away, unexpected enough to keep you hooked, concrete so you can picture it, credible so you believe it, emotional enough to make you feel something, and structured in a way that just makes sense.
Let's just zoom in on simple and concrete for a second. Almost nobody remembers that gravity is 9.81 meters per second squared, but literally everyone remembers the story about an apple falling on Newton's head. Same thing with business jargon. We are a service aggregator is abstract. It means nothing. But we are the Uber for X? Boom! Instantly, you get it. Your job as a founder is to do exactly that. Translate your complex ideas into vivid, concrete images that the brain can process in a snap. So where do you find your story? Well, here's the crucial part. It doesn't start with some polished mission statement. It starts with you. And kind of counterintuitively, it doesn't begin with your greatest triumphs. It actually begins with your struggles. This idea flips everything we think about influence on its head, doesn't it? An audience doesn't really connect with some flawless hero up on a pedestal. They connect with a real person, someone who's faced challenges, who's made mistakes, and showed the resilience to get back up. That's where real, honest-to-God credibility comes from. Sharing a story of failure, like this one right here, it's not a weakness, it's a strength. It's brilliant because it does 2 things. First, it makes you relatable. And second, maybe more importantly, it proves you learned a hard-won lesson. It establishes you as a credible expert who actually earned their knowledge, not someone who just read it in a book. Every great founder story has what we call an inflection point. This is that moment where the original plan just completely shattered and the real mission suddenly became crystal clear. It's more than just an origin story. It's the moment your company discovered its true purpose. Nailing this down is the foundation of your entire brand narrative.
Okay, so once you've found your founder story, your own personal hero's journey, you can start to build it into the broader brand narrative. But here's the thing. Every great hero needs something to fight against. To make your hero matter, you've got to have a compelling villain. So don't just sell your solution. You need to articulate the problem, the injustice, the outdated way of thinking that your brand exists to defeat. This enemy, this villain, it gives your company a mission that goes way beyond just making money. It gives your customers a cause to rally behind. And this leads us to one of the most powerful narrative structures there is, the before and after. You frame your value not as a boring list of features, but as a clear journey. You take them from the problem-filled world of before to the solution-oriented world of after. This makes your impact so tangible, so easy to understand, and it infinitely answers the customer's biggest question: why should I care?
All right, this is where the rubber meets the road. This is where theory becomes practice. Because being a great storyteller, it's not some innate talent you're born with. It's a skill. It's a muscle you develop through deliberate action. So here are the essential steps to build that muscle.
Look, master storytellers are not just winging it. They're pulling from a well-prepared library. So first, build your story bank.
a collection of founder stories, customer wins, and lessons from failures. For those customer wins, use the CAR format. What was the context of their problem? What action did they take with your product? And what was the incredible result? Next, you have to practice telling these stories out loud. A story only comes to life when it's spoken. And finally, draw your boundaries. Knowing what you are not about actually makes your real story that much sharper.
And if you think this is all just talk, the results are real, and they can be dramatic. This cycle shop owner, he transformed his business, not by offering discounts, but by shifting his whole identity from a seller to an expert guide. He stopped pushing a product and started sharing knowledge through story, and his sales tripled. That is the power of this stuff.
So ultimately, this is the goal. Your brand isn't just a logo or a product, it's a narrative. And your number one job as a founder is to craft a story that's so clear, so compelling, and so authentic that your customers, your investors, and your team don't just understand it, they carry it forward and they share it for you.
Every single founder has a story of struggle, of insight, and of purpose. The key isn't just having one. It's developing the courage and the skill to tell it effectively. When you master that, you're not just building a company, you're building a story that people will remember and repeat.